Okay. Yeah, so notice here, this is saying sine. The second page is in terms of cosine, and then the last page you're doing both. Okay? I just want to talk you through a couple of these just to help you get started, but then I want you to work with neighbor to kind of help think through these and start working on remembering how period works, how vertical shift, all of that other good stuff works. So first thing you really want to, my suggestion is that you want to look to see if you can find where your midline is, because that's going to help you with your vertical shift. So our lowest value is at -1, our highest value is at 3. So our midline is here at +1. So our vertical shift is up 1. We need to decide on the amplitude. So amplitude, remember, we're going to look from our midline. It has to be the same distance from midline up to the highest point and then from midline down to the lowest point. So what's our amplitude? 2. Yes. All right. Do we see a shift left or right? I don't see one. What's the period for this? So if we're looking at a sine graph, we want to consider, here's basically our starting place. We need 1 full cycle, and that goes out to 2 pi. So yeah, our period is 2 pi. So the b value is not changing there. So we know we have a sine x. That's not going to change. The amplitude, that tells us we need a 2 out front, and then the up 1 tells us we need this up +1. We need something else though. What's missing? Negative. Yes. Who said that? Who picked up on that? There you go, Landon. Did you notice that this was starting at midline and going low and then high? So you need that negative sign in there also. Okay. Questions on that one? How we're kind of looking at each individual part to kind of put the equation together. So midline we know is right there at 0, 0. So there's at 0. So there's no vertical shift. So the next thing we need to consider is what 1 full period is. So if we start here, 1 full period goes to pi, right? This is 1 full period. 1 up loop, 1 low loop, as somebody in my earlier class said. So to figure out what our b value is from that, remember we're doing 2 pi over b is equal to pi over 1. So if we cross multiply here, we get that b is equal to 2. So we know we have y is equal to sine of 2x.
Would this pi over 1 something?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What are you calculating here for the 2 for b?
The b equals 2 is helping us find the number that has to go in front of the x so that it gives us the period of pi. Right? If you do 2 pi over 2, you get that the period is pi. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, amplitude. How high up and how low are we going? 4. So we know we need a 4. Do we have a phase shift?
No.
Nope.
But is it negative right now?
We're starting midline. We're going up and then down. So it's positive. So y is equal to 4 sine of 2x. All right, try these other two. Work with your partners. Please notice, guys, this is a phase shift. I will give you that hint. This is a phase shift there. So try this one. Try 3 and 4. We'll go over these in just a second, just the equations. And then you can work on the rest of this, okay? Okay, what do we get for equations for what do we get for the equation for number 3? Who's got that one? Go ahead.
Y is equal to 3 sine parentheses x plus pi over 4.
Okay, I like all of that. There's one tiny little thing, Luca. Yeah. Don't forget the negative there.
Wait, so to
Good.
get pi over 4 is like for the period?
The period is actually still 2 pi, but it's been shifted, right? That left pi over 4. So you can see that because we're going from negative pi over 4. Full cycle is from negative pi over 4 to 7 pi over 4. So if you add that all together, we still get 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? This distance is pi over 4, plus this 7 pi over 4 adds to the 8 pi over 4, so that gives us the 2 pi. Yeah, there wasn't a vertical shift. That was and we were left pi over 4. Okay, what about that last equation?
Were we okay to use numbers instead of like, because it had no pi?
So you need a pi in this, don't you? What'd you get? What do we have to add to it? What's our vertical shift? Plus 3, okay. So what about our b? What did you get, Luca?
I put y is equal to sine x plus 2, parentheses, and then plus 3. Because I didn't know if 8 is the normal period or what.
Yeah, so if 8, like this is, so yeah, out to 8 is 1 full cycle. So 2 pi over b equals 8 over 1. If we cross multiply here, we get 2 pi equals b times 8. We can divide by 8. So b is just, if we reduce that, we just get pi over 4 x. So that's kind of a little bit of a trick on that one because of the pi. You're used to there just being a number there, but there's a pi involved in that one because this is just numbers here. Okay? All right, so the rest of that page, notice and remember, on page 2, it's asking you to do cosines. You're going to have to do a phase shift on, I'm pretty sure there's a phase shift on at least one of those. Yeah, there's a phase shift. And then you're going to have to think phase shifts for that last page where you're doing sines and cosines.
How do you, how would you make it a sine and cosine?
I'll help you. I'll kind of talk you through a little bit of that. So you've got this classwork. You're going to finish this for homework. And then also page 35 for homework also. So you could scan all of that together and just include it all together when you submit to page 35. Okay?